What's going on, everyone? We're going to take a look at Tesla. So if you guys do follow my channel, you guys know that I love to trade Tesla on a weekly basis, right? Tesla and Nvidia, those are my two top stocks that I like to trade. However, I do trade other tickers in the NASDAQ 100, things like Meta, things like Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, right? What I already said, Amazon. I also trade futures. I predominantly am going to trade micros, MMQ, and the NQ, which is the NASDAQ, right? So I'm constantly watching these tickers. I'm always watching these stocks. Now, majority of these stocks have been doing phenomenal, right? Anyone who thinks that, we're in any type of bear market in 2023 is absolutely befuddled, right? If you pull up some of these tickers, ever since the lows that we kind of put in October of 2022, November of 2022, most of these stocks are up 30, 40, 50%. In fact, we have things like Nvidia and things like Meta up over 100%. Quick example, if you were to put $100,000 in Meta at the start of the year, you'd be up $100,000 on that position, right? It's same thing with Nvidia. You put $100,000 in that position, you're up close to, if not over $100,000 on your initial $100,000. So, some of these tickers have really provided great moves. There's also some tickers that are also lagging, right? So Tesla has been a little bit of a lagger. Last week, Tesla came down, kind of broke through the linear regression channel. Now, this low that we put in last week is going to remain, my short position on Tesla. So if we do start to lose 152, 151, that will be my short position. It's got a lot of room down. It's got at least, room to kind of fill this old previous gap at around 147. That play still remains intact, right? Now, it was last week where there was a lot of traders on social media that were calling for the 147 test. That same day, Tesla reversed and was up significantly, 8-9 points on the day, I believe, right? So it was this day here. If you kind of pull up your charts with me so we can follow along, I'll give everyone a little bit of time. But if we go to 426, it was this day where myself included was very short-sighted bias, right? Because if we did get any sort of confirmation of those lows of 426, we had a lot of room down to kind of fill the gap into 147. Now, there's going to be a lot of traders that try to time the top. They're going to try to time the bottom. They're going to try to guess where the market is going. I would imagine that anyone that did go short that day, the following day on the 27th, got absolutely slaughtered, right? So one thing that I kind of want everyone to take from this video and to take from me and my teaching is that we have to let price action develop. We have to allow technical analysis to be our friend, right? We don't need to sit back and try to outsmart the market, okay? As traders, especially day traders, our biggest job is to try to identify areas in the market where potentially we can make some money. And then when we do put those trades on the table, we have to manage the risk that we're putting on the table, right? So what that means is that sometimes you're going to get into trades and you are going to lose. You're going to go into drawdown. The last thing that you want to do is add to losing positions. And last thing you want to do is start holding and hoping and starting to swing a losing position. The idea of, being a consistent trader is to be able to celebrate your wins, get pissed off at your losses, but have no emotions when it comes to what side of the probability that you're on, right? So, for example, when I take a trade and I win and it's a good trade, I'm going to be hooting and hollering, celebrating, doing this, that, and the other, right? When I lose, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a complete mummy and I don't, get upset. I get upset. Sometimes I start cussing at the screen. If you guys have ever heard me trade live, or you guys are in the Discord and I've been on, the voice calls with you guys, I get pissed off, right? But I understand that it's just me being on the wrong side of the probability. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad trader, and it doesn't mean that, my trading strategy doesn't work. Just like when I take a string of winning trades, it doesn't mean that I'm the best trader in the world. It just means that I executed my system and my strategy the way it needs to be executed, right? So the biggest point and takeaway that I want to make from that is that as long as you have a strategy that you have back tested in a system and you have rules in place and proper risk management, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. As long as you stay in the game, you will come out profitable in the end. Now, You know, as a trader, it's the emotional side of the game that really can get to a lot of traders, where, you know, you have this competitive, you know, spirit where you want to be right, you don't want to lose, you want to show off on social media, you want to be like all these people that are preaching, you know, 500% winners. And you know, when this guy called out 1,000% winner, that's all fine, that's all great, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn technical analysis. What trading is really about is having that discipline and that mindset that you need to be able to understand that you will lose, and you just have to roll with those punches. So that gets me back into the technical analysis on Tesla, right? So right now Tesla's down $2.60. It's down 1.5%. But one thing that I kind of do want to point out is, ever since we came down here and kind of tested those 426 lows, we've had an aggressive bounce, right? So if you look at the bottom price here, that 152.30, we bounced all the way up to a price of 165. So if you look at that, that's over a 10-point bounce. We're looking at a 13-point move, right? So today we are pulling down, but we are holding this 5-day moving average. So we still have to remain giving the bulls short term some benefit of the doubt until we lose this bottom channel and this low from 427, 426. There is no short position on Tesla. Okay, unless you are playing the 1-2 minute time frame and you're looking to get in and out, you know, on one particular setup. You know, what you have to be doing is staying patient right now, and you have to be waiting for the long setup. So what I will be looking at is, I would like to see us get over the 10-day moving average. Like to see us get over Friday's price action. That price that I'm looking for is 165.60, right? Until we get over that, there's no real new play on Tesla unless you have bounced this on the reclaim of this linear regression and 5-day moving average. So I could definitely see someone who got into a play on Tesla long heading into this week, once we got back over and closed over this 5-day moving average. And depending on where you got in, if you got in over 427 highs, you're definitely made some money on Friday. And I hope you guys sold into that 164, 160, 162, 163. Hope you were selling, taking some profits right now. You guys should be down to a runner. The next area that we're looking at here is the 165.30s, 165.40s. Once we get over that, we've got another push higher into 169. Right there is where I would want to clean up some position, because then we got the declining 20-day moving average sitting at around 175. So we need to actually break above and through this supply zone here. But one thing that you guys need to understand about technical analysis is that previous support, okay, previous support is going to act as an area of rejection. Okay, so as we lost this previous area of support, and now as we start the continued bounce here, this area in here between 165, 170 is going to be a troublesome spot. Okay, so it's going to be very, very hard to kind of decipher the price action once we get into that zone. Now it's not going to be until we reclaim that 20-day moving average over 178 and then the 50-day moving average over 185 to where we could really start to put a little bit more risk on the table, right? So again, with that being said, I want everyone to kind of keep in mind, if you did buy the bottom and you are playing the potential bounce, make sure you are locking profits along the way. Okay, make sure you also hold a runner on your position. Use a break even stop or put your stop loss in profit, because if we do continue to sort of slowly grind higher, you definitely want to be a part of the move. Now your next macro plays here is going to be a close over 170, and then the next one is going to be over 179 and then 185. You can also use those as price targets if you're currently sitting long. If you're looking for new plays, those would be your new pivot levels. The big pivot level that I would be looking for is getting over this previous rejection spot here and reclaiming the 50-day moving average at sitting at 186. That play there has potential to this supply zone, which is sitting at 200 to around 202. Okay, excuse my drawing. So that would be the next price target and next play that you're looking to take. Again, speaking to traders, now if you're a longer term investor on Tesla, what you're looking for here is, if we do lose these lows, fill that gap to 147, and then at 147 maybe adding to your position. If you notice we start to hold this area, use those lows as your new stop on your add to your position, and then look to see if we can kind of get that slow ride up. Again, if you do add to your position at 147, 148, and we do lose the lows, make sure to get out of that new position, because the last thing you want to do is take that new position down lower, when potentially we've got a lot more room to fill all the way down here to around 111, 120, and in this whole zone. I would expect this zone to hold if we do something like this, right? I would expect this zone to hold. And again, this would be your perfect loading zone here for a swing trade long. Again, think 6-month horizon on that. But for all traders, you know, I can give you guys some smaller levels here. We can look at maybe the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame here getting rejected at the 20-day moving average. If this starts to lose 160, right? If this starts to lose 160, we could be looking at a price of 158, and anything below today's lows of 158 loses the Bollinger Band and has room down to 156. So again, if you're a short-term trader, those would be the levels that you're looking for. If you're looking for the long position, we got to sit patient. We need to get back over 163, and then over 163 we can kind of play that into the pre-market highs of 164.30s and then to Friday's highs of around 165. That's what I would try to target to the long side. Again, this is technical analysis on Tesla. I hope you guys learned one thing or two. If you did, make sure to leave me a comment, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys are looking to get access to my strategy and access to the online community and one-on-one coaching, make sure to check the links down in the description box below, and I will see you guys all in the next video.